we need to have one of the defensive players here that I was showing you, either CJ Allen or Caden McDonald. I was wrong about last night's draft. I didn't realize that we had a second round pick still. And so that second round pick is got to be spent wisely. Otherwise, all of that was for nothing at the end of the day. We need to pick up a defensive guy. We have to. The fans are split on whether we're going to take a wide receiver in Denzel Boston or Jacob Rodriguez, or who I think we should take in Caden McDonald. I think that if we take a wide receiver, we must trade up into the second round, have 2 second-round picks, and spend one of them on a defensive player as well. Either Caden McDonald, Christian Miller, Anthony Hill isn't too bad, or CJ Allen and Jacob Rodriguez. I really like CJ Allen. If we can get CJ Allen and Caden McDonald on the same team, that would vastly improve our defense, and it would actually we would really be formidable. The DJ Moore trade would actually be okay, I think, if we could shore up the defense that well, because I think those are 2 starters, honestly. I think they could both start right now. I was really crashing out last night because I thought that we didn't have a second round pick, and I was like, what happened to our first pick? I think at this point it's yet to be determined for the Bills. A lot of people are saying, oh, the Bills won the draft, or the first night of the draft, right? Nick Wright said that on First Things First today. Sure, I guess, you won the house draft, the playhouse draft, but it's yet to be determined, because if Beane doesn't do well with these picks, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I said some things like that actually still kind of correlate, because I said, does he really think that we don't need a first round pick and we can still win the Super Bowl? I mean, I think that was made obvious last year that we still need a guy or two, but to think that we don't need a first round pick is kind of arrogant. Now, I understand that he didn't have the first round grade. That makes sense to me, and that's fine. If and only if we can actually turn these picks into something. They must hit. If they don't hit, this is a failure, and I'm back to fire Beane. Right now, I think Beane is at a B-, just like always. That's where he operates, at a B-, just like the DJ Moore deal. Just like almost everything that he does, it's like a B-. I see a lot of people that are excited about the trades. I'm not angry about the trades anymore, but I'm not excited necessarily about them either. I mean, don't forget, he's the reason we're in this situation, right? I mean, let's not kid ourselves. He's the reason that we need all these players to fill their gaps. No homo. But I think that they're going to be smart about this. They've received calls about trading out of their second round pick. No. What you do is you package 2 4th rounders or a 3rd and a 4th, and you go up to the 2nd, and you get 2 second round picks. That's 2 guys that can start on the defense right now. Or you do like 2 fourth rounders and next year's 3rd. And you get a 2nd. Whatever the math is, there's like a master chart. I'm not that much of a dweeb about it, even though I am super nerdy about it. But absolutely not trading out of the top pick of the 2nd round. Absolutely not. No way. Oh man, McVay, he was pissed, huh? I don't know. That seems a little awkward, but all right. So we have the 35th pick, the 66th pick, the 101st pick, the 125th and 26th pick, the 167th pick, the 168th pick. So that's 2 sets of picks back to back. That's attractive. Honestly, I think that might make it a little bit more attractive than that little chart says. And maybe on that chart they weight back-to-back picks a little bit more, because back-to-back picks means you don't have to choose who you want at that moment. You could, or between 2 people, you could have them both. So that adds that little extra value, as opposed to having like 3 picks in between and you don't know what's going to happen. Maybe that guy, which guy do you take first, right? That alleviates that whole process. So you package the 125 and the 126 together, you jump up. Maybe even you can give like a 4th round pick from next year. So 3 4th rounders. And you jump up to the 2nd round, mid 2nd round. So now you have an early 2nd round pick, 35, and then like 47, you know? Wow. The Bills try to trade up. The Bills tried to trade up to get Casey Concepcion last night, but the Browns took him at 24. Wow, dude. Well, why? I would have... Nah, man, that would have been bad. I would have been upset if that happened. I'm happy that happened. In fact, last night I was praying that people were taking these guys, these receivers, so that the Bills wouldn't do exactly that, because I knew it. I knew it. You know what else I knew? I was talking about the Rams taking Ty Simpson while it was happening in real time. I thought to myself, these guys really need a backup, right? I mean, these guys can't rely on Matt Stafford the whole time. He's almost donezo. Yes. Yeah. Excellent meme, Barstool. Excellent meme. Bravo. Bravo. Top tier. Okay, so what did we learn? We learned that Beane is due a little extra credit. And I feel like I say this every single year. It's like a dip in his approval, you know? He does something and we're like, ah. And then he does something and we're like, yeah. And he does something and we're like, ah. He does something and we're like, yeah. It's just nonstop. We're in an abusive relationship with Brandon Beane and the Buffalo Bills. This is what's happening to the Bills fans right now. We are in an abusive relationship with the Buffalo Bills. And Brandon Beane is daddy. All right, we're about 30 minutes out from the draft. The current lineup here. San Francisco 49ers are going to be the first ones on the clock. We got Niners, Cardinals, Bills. Cool. Okay, so I mean, here's where it gets interesting, right? Are we going to be able to get back up into the second round? I hope. I mean, what picks do we have left? Teams. Buffalo. What do we got? Fourth rounders. I think that you can get into the second round with 3 fourth rounders and 2 fifth rounders. I think that that's possible. I definitely think that that is possible. What do you think? You guys think that we can jump up into the second round with these picks? Put a 1 in the chat if you think that we should jump into the second round. Put a 2 in the chat if you think we should take all these picks to fill out the roster to make sure that we have enough players. Yes, we need a lot of players. Hi, Nicole. How are you? Thanks for the chat. Appreciate you. Tell me how you felt about last night's trade downs. Makai Lemon is wild. This guy's nuts. Man, he looks like he's on Molly. Is that what it looks like? The Athletic, they have every first round grade out. Let's see what they have to say. I can't adjust that here. Let's see what they have to say about this. They got Mendoza as an A. Oh, man. Yeah, Eagles. Yeah, I think that if he recovers well, that receiver could definitely replace A.J. Brown. I'm upset that the Bills didn't trade with the Eagles for A.J. Brown instead of D.J. Moore. I don't like D.J. Moore at all. I think that you guys could have been better off with our 32nd or with our 26th pick. You could have had more ammo to move up into or you could have had 3 first round picks. You know, who knows? But I do like the receiver you guys got. If he comes back healthy off of his injury, I think he was high or something. I don't know. It was wild. Something. I don't know what was going on. Looked like Stevie Wonder at his interview on the on the stage. It was wild. I don't know. But I don't have anything against the Eagles. I don't have any rivalry beef with them. I hope you guys do well. I hate the Cowboys, so that's pretty cool. You know, I hope you beat the Cowboys a lot. This grading here, A minus, B plus. Ty Simpson was a C. Malachi Lawrence was a C plus. Caleb Banks was a C plus. I agree with the Malachi Lawrence C plus. I didn't like that right there, especially because they had they still had guys like CJ Allen out there, and they had good pass rushers still too. I think Malachi Lawrence is a specialist. I'm pretty sure he's a specialist. Like, he's not going to be an every down edge. He's going to come in on pass downs and he's going to disrupt the passer, which is very valuable. But there's a couple guys like that you can get later. I think they should have taken a superstar middle linebacker right there. I think that if they would have done that and revamped the center of their defense with that person and Caleb Downs, that would have been ridiculous. They would have been definitely one of the best drafters for sure. Absolutely. We have the 35th pick, the 66th pick, 101st pick, 125th, 126th pick, 167, 168, 182, 220. All right, so sitting here about 20 minutes out from the draft. Let me know down in the comments, who do you want to see the Bills take at 35? I want Caleb McDonald. I want him because I think that he's going to ultimately be our defensive anchor. I think that he could be a real, like, second team kind of defensive player, you know, just because of the impact that he could make in the center of our defense. And the fact that if he does make that kind of impact on the center of our defense, what kind of impact he's going to be making on our Super Bowl odds. Jeremiah Love to the Cardinals was ridiculous. I was shocked when it happened, and I think it's funny that they just shoot themselves in the foot because they went and they got Tyler Algier this year in free agency. They have James Conner still. Like, I'm showing all the picks. When we go through, as they go through all the picks, I'm going to be talking about it, all the picks. I don't know everybody like intimately, all of the prospects, but yeah, whenever someone's on the clock, I'll talk about that pick for sure. Definitely. But I think that so far, you know, the Eagles, didn't they get oh yeah, they traded, that's right. The Eagles don't really need a lot, do they? I mean, what do they really need? And I think they're in a unique position because I don't really like Hurts a lot. And I think that if he has a decent season, but not like glow up season next year, they could potentially do something wild, like trade him for a top first round pick and try to get an actual passer of the football. Because, I mean, Hurts is not a passer of the football. he throws the football sometimes. He's not a passer of the football. And so, and I'm not saying that he's holding them back, but I mean, I think it's obvious that people on the team are not happy or satisfied with the style of football that has to be played with Hurts, you know? But in any event, like, who do they really need? They have a solid, I mean, I guess they lost guys on the O-line last year, but they still have a solid O-line. Their defensive line is one of the best in the NFL. Their defense in general is good, and they're playing against bums in the NFC East. I fully expect the Eagles to be one of the, final four teams standing. So NFC Championship type caliber team, for sure. For sure. I mean, I think that in maybe a year or two, the Giants are going to be a problem, but not that quickly, I don't think. I think that the Eagles still have a year or two left of dominating the NFC East. I don't think the Commanders, if the Commanders would have taken Love, if the Commanders would have taken Jeremiah Love, that would have been a serious problem for the NFC East. But I think for now, in general, the Eagles are probably going to be the best team in that division. I don't like or dislike necessarily their pick. I think it's yet to be determined. Didn't this guy get injured? So or no, he didn't. Yeah, I mean, this guy is going to be good for sure. Amon-Ra St. Brown, I don't see Amon-Ra St. Brown. I don't see that. Well, not that. Amon-Ra St. Brown is like tier 1A. You know? I don't think this kid is going to be tier 1A. I think he's going to be tier 1B. Maybe tier 2A. They gave him an 89 grade. Interesting. 15 minutes till the draft. Who do you guys want your team to pick? Who do you want? Who will you be upset if they walk away with, and who will you be happy if they walk away with? If we take Denzel Boston, I'm crashing out, and it's going to be a legit crash out too. Yesterday's crash out was not legit. It was a legit crash out. It was, but it wasn't a legit crash out. Like, I legitimately crashed out, but it wasn't over something legit. When do we grab a linebacker? I hope that they trade up into the second round and get 2 second-round picks. I really think that right here at this pick, I'm a Caden McDonald fan. I really like Caden McDonald. I think at this pick, it could be either the D tackle or the linebackers because of who's left and available. I think that they're pretty much all kind of relatively equally important. I think that CJ Allen is my linebacker pick. So if they don't take Caden McDonald, I would prefer that they take CJ Allen. But I hope that they trade up into the second round and get a mid-second round pick so that we could get both the linebacker and the D tackle with the second round pick, because I think that if we could get 2 starters on defense right away, that might be the what gets us over the hump. If we could start stopping the run and forcing teams to throw on us, and then we have Bradley from on the D end. Like, I think that he could really tee off if we're able to stop the run. Only if. And so I think that we need to get 2 starters, and I think that they need to trade up into the second round. I won't be upset if they don't, but, you know, I think that we could take the linebacker here at 35. I really do, because I think there's a significant drop-off. I don't know much about Anthony Hill. I didn't really look into him a lot. I was expecting him to be gone at this point, honestly. I was looking at guys like CJ and Rodriguez, 6'2", 238. Not the biggest, most imposing guy. Looks like he plays decent coverage. Edgerrin Cooper is the pro comp. Huh. I don't even know who Edgerrin Cooper is. Not gonna lie to any of you. Yeah, see, just the way they speak about him is different. Good eye discipline, rarely out of position, plays downhill, shoots gaps, makes stops on the perimeter, zone coverage. Like, I mean, I think this guy is going to be an elite. Roquan Smith is his pro comp. Wow, I didn't see that. Who are they saying that Jacob Rodriguez is like? I think Jacob Rodriguez is like Matt Milano, personally. Jordan Brooks. Okay, that's not bad. That's decent comp. I would have crashed out if they took Concepcion. If they traded up for Concepcion, huh, man, I would have been pissed. Woo! Man, I would have been pissed if they did that. I'm not a fan. I have a couple videos out. I'm not a fan of the wide receivers at the top of the draft this year. I think that we can get a wide receiver in the draft. I think they should get a wide receiver. And I saw a comment said that we need 2 linebackers. Yeah, I think actually we need 3, but they won't draft a 3rd one. I think they're going to bring one in for camp. But yeah, like these receivers are fool's gold, in my opinion. Denzel Boston is Keon Coleman. Like, literally. That's who he's going to be. Contested catch guy. Doesn't really separate a lot. No, pass. Hard pass. Give me the defense. Fix the trenches. Offense was good last year. We got DJ Moore. I don't like DJ Moore personally. I don't like that we made the trade for him, but we have him now, and I think that he is an upgrade to all of our receivers from last year. He's not an alpha receiver by any means, but he is better than everyone we had last year. That includes Shakir. So we're going to be better on offense, and we were already good on offense. If we can get 2 starters on defense and then some depth pieces and really have some good competition this season at training camp, I think that our defense could take the next step up, especially because people aren't expecting them because we're switching the scheme. But if we don't get these guys to fill these plugs, switching the scheme is going to be our detriment. We're going to be I think that if we can't shore up the defense in this draft, we're going to fall out of the playoffs. I really think that if we don't get these defensive players going and we mess around and go take wide receivers instead, that we will not be in the playoffs this year. The AFC is getting too good. The Chiefs got better. The Ravens got better. The Bengals got better. The Texans got better. We didn't pick. We're the same team. So, I mean, we got to make this happen. If they don't nail this second round, all of these trades is for nothing. All of them. DJ Moore for 800 yards. Yeah, I mean, that's about who he is. I'll be honest with you, though. If he does pop off for like 8 touchdowns and 1,300 yards, okay, I'm wrong. And you know what? I sincerely hope that I'm wrong. Really, truly believe me when I say I hope that I'm wrong about DJ Moore. I hope that he pops off, you know? I just don't see that happening when you're aging and coming off of your worst season. I think 800 is realistic. I do. And if he can have 800 and like 6 touchdowns, we'll be good. We'll be solid. Especially if we can get some more production from guys like Dalton Kincaid. Oh, I'm not going to have a draft stream. I'm just going to be reacting to the draft picks. So I'm not going to be showing the actual draft footage. Sorry about that. All right, so let's see if there's any updates here. Final prediction. Yeah, I would have crashed out if this happened right here. I would have just lost my mind. Okay. So I want you guys to let me know down in the comments section in the chat. Put a 1 if you like what Beane has done so far. Put a 2 if you're undecided the way that I am. We have to see who he takes. Put a 3 in the chat if you don't like what he's done so far. And put a 4 in the chat if you think that he's absolutely ruined this draft already. We got 5 minutes until the draft. Buffalo Bills are going to be 3rd on the clock. That means that they're going to go relatively quick. From my experience in the past, I'm not a draft expert, but I do remember the second round of drafts being somewhat relatively fast. But then I know it really, really starts to pick up around the 3rd and 4th. So hopefully this draft goes a little quick. I feel like the first round went exceptionally quick. Maybe not. But it felt to me like the first round, they just banged them out. There was a couple, like the Raiders took their sweet time. And the Steelers did. I remember that. Steelers. They took all of their time. What are you doing? Like, don't you? I mean, whatever. Let's see what you guys say in the chat. Do 1, I see 2. Yeah, I agree. I think that Caden McDonald is not just the safest pick, but the biggest need. Like, we have 3 defensive tackles on our team. 3. And 0 of them are nose tackles. 0 techniques. None of them. So we need a nose tackle. You know what I mean? I think that, and there's talks of like signing Javon Solomon and stuff. I mean, we could find a linebacker that is a tackling guy. You know, I don't think that we're going to find a D tackle now that's going to do what McDonald does. Yeah, I think that real success today will be defined by Beane getting another 2nd round pick. And I think that he did well in getting sexy picks. He got back-to-back picks in the 4th round and in the 5th round. And actually, he has 3 picks in the 4th round. So we could package 2 of those 4th rounders together, those back-to-backs. There's like a grading sheet of like points on how much each draft position costs, and then you could calculate like if you're getting a good deal or not. I've never seen it, and so I'm just an idiot on the internet, but I'm of the opinion that 2 back-to-back picks is more valuable than those picks by themselves. Like Like let's say pick 1 is 1 point and pick 2 is 2 points. If Team A and Team B had each of those, I think if Team A had both of those and traded it to Team B, that it would cost more than 3 points. It would be like 4 points because of the convenience factor of having the back-to-back. That way you don't have to choose between 2 potential prospects that you like, you know? So we have 2 of those. We have 5th round back-to-backs and we have 4th round back-to-backs. We should package those 4th round back-to-backs and try to get our way into the 2nd round. We would still have a 3rd round pick, a 4th round, a 5th round, 2 5th rounds, I should say, 6th and 7th. So he did make it so that he's more flexible, but he has to execute. And that's what he's been missing out on every draft. He always does something well, and then he doesn't. So we'll see what happens. All right. It is officially 7 p.m. Eastern time, 4 Pacific. The 2026 NFL Draft is open. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time here at Bills and Beyond. If you haven't already, do me a favor, like and subscribe to the channel. That way you know if I go live, and you can check out more content coming forward. New channel. I was really inspired by the DJ Moore trade. I'm not a fan of the DJ Moore trade. And it led me to get on the internet and start complaining. Start arguing with people. Let's do it. and that's what people are saying. You got to find a trade partner is a very good observation, because that's what people are saying about the Cardinals. Why they took Love is because they were trying to trade out and they couldn't find a trade partner. So because they weren't necessarily expecting to trade or to draft there, they took the best player that they had available on their board, which happened to be Love. So that could be what happened. I think that's stupid either way. I would have sacrificed the best player on my board for like Avril Reese, who was available, who is a D-end who you also need. But I digress on that. There's reports that the Patriots are going to be getting A.J. Brown, which I think is true based on the way that the Eagles drafted. I think that the Eagles taking Mackay, damn, I forgot his name. I'm really bad with names, guys. Really, really bad with names. Eagles, Mackay Lemon, yeah. Lemon. How did I forget that? Lemon. Gucci man. Okay. All right, here we go. 49ers. San Francisco 49ers are opening the 2nd round of the 2026 NFL Draft with the 26th overall pick. They were 12-5 last season. They finished 3rd in the NFC West. They need an offensive tackle, an edge, a wide receiver, a center, and a safety. So got Emmanuel McNeil-Warren is out there. Ooh. I hope that they take Denzel Boston right here. Because I don't want us to take him. I don't want Beane to be tempted into taking Denzel Boston or pressured into taking Denzel Boston. I want Caden McDonald, and so I want them to take Denzel Boston. Yeah, I think Diggs put a bad taste in Beane's mouth. But I think that Beane saw what Diggs kind of did to muddy up the offense at the end, and he's scared of having like a prima donna wide receiver like that now, and so he avoids these guys. You're right. He does avoid true wide receiver ones like the plague. That's crazy. Yeah, I was talking about Mekhi Lemon. Yeah, so Mekhi Lemon is going to easily replace AJ Brown. Not easily, I should say. AJ Brown's a all-pro wide receiver, but he's going to replace the targets share for AJ Brown. And there's strong reporting. It's almost like a done deal that the Patriots are going to scoop in and get AJ Brown. I want to see what they get him for, though, because I will be pissed off if they get him for like a late first round or whatever type pick, you know? Because we went and got DJ Moore instead of AJ Brown. Should have got AJ Brown instead. DJ Moore is going to be fine, though. He'd probably have one of the best seasons of his career, honestly. He's never had a quarterback like Josh. He's going to be featured. There's going to be a heavy run game. And they're going to have like a lot of motion and stuff, so he'll be able to use whatever speed he has left. He's a good separator, so I think that he'll eat in the middle of the field this year for sure. San Francisco 49ers, come on. What's going on, man? You had all night. So while we wait for the 49ers, let's see what's going on over here on X. Let's see if there's anything interesting going on here. The only pick I'd be upset with at 35 would be Denzel Boston. I agree, Dan Mitchell. I agree. 100% agreed. Nick Wright says the Buffalo Bills won the first round. Oh my goodness, look at this. They don't even have AJ Brown in this photo. If the first two picks this evening are Caden McDonald and Christian Miller, and the Bills have to make a pick at 35, who's your guy? Who's my guy? Smith and Wesson? Just kidding. Yeah. No. EMW, no. We don't need a safety at 35. We don't need to take EMW at 35. I'm cool on that. We don't need that. Let's see what's going on with 49ers. They're still on the clock. Okay. 49ers are taking all of their time. Their whole entire sweet ass time. They're taking the whole thing. They're on West Coast time. I'm on West Coast time. This guy. All right, let's see what's up. We need these 49ers to make their pick. Get this going. We need the Bills to get up onto the podium. All right, San Francisco, pick is in. Because it has to be, because they took every last second. We do need a D end and a linebacker for sure, and an edge. But I think that, honestly, some of our old three technique D tackles can actually bump out and be D ends, kind of. Like, I think Ed Oliver would be a good rushing D end from a 3-4. And like Ed Oliver would essentially be Aaron Donald, right? Like, they called Aaron Donald a D tackle, but he lined up as a D end a lot of the time. And also Dion. I think Dion would be great as the other end, setting the edge. I think that we're okay at the end. I think that we can pick up a body and make a good competition, like a true, big, stout, edge setting 6'6", 285 run stopping D end for a 3-4, but I think that we may have those guys now. I don't think we have a nose tackle now. We don't have a guy that's going to take on double and triple teams and push the pocket around and not let people run by him, you know? Yeah, D. Alford is going to be a decent nickel. I think that they're going to get away from the nickel, though. They're not going to play him a lot. Like, it's not going to be like McDermott, where their nickel was on the field a lot. Okay, with the first pick of the second round in the 2026 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Dejon Stribling, wide receiver from Ole Miss. Wow. Wow, that's insanity. Denzel Boston got skipped. Emmanuel McNeil-Warren got skipped. Wow. Who for that guy? Wow, who is that guy? Whoa. RPO defense offenses. What was that? Okay. They have good things to say about him. Interesting. Very, very interesting that they didn't take Denzel Boston there. Wow. I think they think that what I think is Denzel Boston is just Keon Coleman. Smart move, not taking Denzel Boston. But bad move for us because I fear that Beane is going to take Denzel Boston. Cardinals are on the pick. I'm sorry, Cardinals are on the clock and the pick is in. With the second pick of the second round of the 2026 NFL Draft, Cardinals went 3-14 last year, fourth in the NFC West, which is busted. They need a quarterback, offensive tackle, edge, safety, D tackle. If they take Caden McDonald right here, I'm going to lose it. I'm going to be pissed. Do not take Caden McDonald right now. Why do I keep saying McDaniel? I don't know. You know why? Because I'm an idiot. Because I say dumb things like last night when I was crashing out about not having a second round pick, even though we had a second round pick. I do a lot of that kind of stuff. So if you love watching people mess up a lot of things in real time and then realizing it and then saying, wow, what a dummy, then you should subscribe to the channel because I do that often, regularly, almost like it's my job. All right. Wow. This is really getting interesting. This is really getting interesting because I think that the Cardinals don't know what they're doing. With the second pick in the second round of the 2026 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Chase Bisontis, offensive guard from Texas A&M. All right. Okay. Even though they needed all that other stuff, right? He was a tackle first, got moved to guard. Slow punch, strength, and contact recovery. Okay. They ranked him 33rd overall, so this is right about where he was supposed to go, it looks like. Fair enough. It looks like the Cardinals are drafting the way a kindergartner would. or a homeless person would if you just handed them a list and said, these are how we rank people. Just scratch them off from the top as you go, and the person that's left at the top is who you should pick. Who is the who is the GM for the Cardinals? And that means that the Buffalo Bills are now on the clock. Let's go. Oh, the third pick in the second round. Buffalo needs a wide receiver, an edge, a linebacker, a guard, a corner, and especially a nose tackle. Caden McDonald. I'll be cool with Miller. We need defense here. Do not take Denzel Boston. I'm going to burn this place down if they take Denzel Boston. Let's go, Bills. Let's go. I think that we're taking defense. I think we have to take defense. Especially they just took the guard right in front of us. We need a guard on the line, and that's really the only offensive guy we need. We could take a wide receiver. We don't need a wide receiver. All right, let's see. The pick is in. I'm going to crash out if they take Denzel Boston. Hopefully Oliver Marmol. Yeah, I think they have to go defense here. Wow. With the second pick or the third pick in the second round of the 2026 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select T.J. Parker, edge out of Clemson. Why? Why would we do that? Is this guy going to change our defense? Is this guy going to fundamentally change our defense? Yeah. My B- for Brandon Beane just went down to a C-, D+. What are you doing, guy? Unreal. I can't believe this, dude. Yeah, I'm bringing it back. Hashtag fire Brandon Beane. Hashtag fire Brandon Beane. What the hell are we doing? What the hell are we doing? We don't have defensive tackles. We don't have linebackers. And there's so many sitting there. What are we doing, brother? No. Sorry. No. Not a fan. Terrible. Terrible, terrible. Terrible. With Caden McDonald right there. This is going to be a long night. Buckle up. It's going to be a long one. Nah, I know T.J. Parker, he's not a bad player. He's just not better than the guys that were there. And he's not going to be like that impact guy like that. He's not going to be doing double-digit sacks like that. He sets the edge. We have Hoyt. He's coming off injury, but still, Hoyt's going to be setting the edge. We don't have a nose tackle. We don't have a Mike linebacker. Hashtag fire Brandon Beane. Yeah, now, I mean, I'm not really necessarily in crash out mode with this, you know, but like, bro, you traded down and you were in the perfect position and then you pull some stunt like that. This is incredible. Yeah, it's he's overthinking. Yeah, he does it every year. He does something great, and then he gets all excited about it and does the wrong thing. Or he gets pressured into doing the wrong thing. He doesn't... I've been saying this for days. Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott are definitely top 5 NFL coaches and GMs. However, they are a specific type of coach and GM. They are coach and GM for rebuilding teams. These are culture guys. These are guys that change your franchise. They're not guys that win you championships. Clearly. Because he values like fit guys rather than who we're going to take to dominate. I guarantee you they took TJ Parker because they like him. 6'3", 263 edge for a 3-4. No, it's not the end of the world, but he's sitting at a C- right now for me, for sure. If he doesn't trade back into the second round, he's going straight to an F because we need a linebacker and we need a nose tackle. Now, granted, we could get a good nose tackle maybe like a little bit later, like Big Orange or Lee Hunter or something like that. But brother, like, whew, man. All right, so, yep. And the Houston Texans take Caden McDonald, the very next pick after the Bills. Whoa, dude. So they traded with the Texans. They gave the Texans an extra first-round pick. And then they let the Texans get Caden McDonald right after them. AFC rival, Houston Texans. We're gonna get bounced if we make the playoffs this year. We're getting bounced in the first round or the second round again, because homie TJ Parker is not the answer to fixing the defense. And the answer went the very next pick after. They had Caden McDonald. ESPN had Caden McDonald ranked as the number 1 position rank and the 26th overall player. They had TJ Parker ranked as the 8th in his position. Yikes, dude. Brandon Beane has run his course. I think it's obvious. There's gonna, you know, what makes me mad is there's gonna be so many people like, oh, what a great pick. He's doing such a great job. It's all the Bills homers and stuff. You know what I mean? Which I love those people to death. Those are the people who are like the nicest people on earth. That's the salt of the earth, you know? But it's like, wake up. Get this guy out. That's unreal that I just witnessed right now. Unreal. New York Giants are on the clock with the 4th pick in the second round. In the 5th pick in the second round of the 2026 NFL draft. They need a wide receiver, an offensive guard, corner, D tackle. Let's see what the internet is saying about this pick. Unreal. That's crazy to me. Yeah. When they find out they're supposed to draft good players. Here we go, underdog. Long arm right here. Making another play while carry 78th percentile. For tackle for a loss. Edge rushers. Nah. He gets mocked and tied to top 50. We took him at 35. Top 50 means that he should have gone later in the second round. I don't see... This doesn't look like him dominating people. He missed the tackle. Yeah, dude. What are we doing? Beane is so obsessed with trying to get a D end right, you know? It's like, why, dude? New York Giants selected Colton Hood with the 5th pick in the second round of the 2026 NFL draft. Colton Hood out of Tennessee, cornerback. Man, I don't know. I think that, we got, at least we got a defensive player. At least he didn't take Denzel Boston. At least he didn't, totally go off the deep end and kept it somewhat respectable, you know? Because if he would have taken Denzel Boston right there, I'd have lost my mind. I would have lost my mind. I don't know. I just think that you win in the middle. I grew up playing football with coaches telling me that if you have a strong middle, you're going to have a strong outside. And that goes for both sides of the ball. Strong defensive tackle, strong middle linebacker, strong free safety, you're going to have a good defense. AKA Haloti Ngata, Ray Lewis, Ed Reed. Same thing is true on offense. Strong center, strong quarterback, strong running back. You're going to win a lot of games. A la the Eagles with Kelsey, Hurts, Barkley. For some reason, Brandon Beane is obsessed with defensive ends. I don't understand. He just keeps taking them. He's probably drafted more defensive ends than anything. I wouldn't be surprised to find out that Brandon Beane has drafted more defensive ends than any other position. Wow. With the 6th pick in the second round, the Las Vegas Raiders select Traden Stucks, safety out of Arizona. Okay, all right. Sounds good. Cleveland Browns are on the clock. Cleveland Browns need a quarterback, a guard, and a corner. No, yeah, if we don't really get this defense situated here, I have a very, very funny feeling that we are not going to make the playoffs this year. And everybody's like, Josh Allen. Yeah, Patrick Mahomes just missed the playoffs. So did Lamar Jackson. So did Joe Burrow. Good quarterbacks missed the playoffs, especially in the AFC, because there's so many good quarterbacks in the AFC. But just having Josh Allen is not going to do it for us. I think that's obvious now. Having Josh Allen takes care of the offense, which is why I think that we need to focus on defense. And being smart about building a defense is how you build a defense. You don't build a defense stupidly. You build it smartly. You don't build a defense from the outside in. You don't start with the safeties and the corners and work your way to the line. The game is won and lost on the line of scrimmage. If the game is a game of inches, then it's won and lost on the trenches. Because being a secondary player is a game of yards. Brandon Beane really needs to trade up in this second round, or else we're going to have a problem, Houston. I don't even want to talk about Houston. They just took Caden McDonald. Man, my grandpa used to say, it's better than a sharp stick in the eye. Burly food. Burly. All right. Pick is in for the Cleveland Browns. Let's see where they're at. Guard, corner. Jermod McCoy is still on the take here. Let's look at this best available list. Jermod McCoy, Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, Avian Terrell, Denzel Boston, Zion Young, Cassius Howell. See, I like Cassius Howell better than who we took, because Cassius Howell is more like an outside linebacker type. He'll stand up and he'll rush the passer. Anthony Hill. Man, they're still good players. Christian Miller's still out there. They better not take Malachi Fields, like, at all, even later. I like Jennings Dunker a lot, but I don't know. I don't really think we need a tackle. Wow. Wow. With the 7th pick in the 2nd round, the Cleveland Browns select Denzel Boston, wide receiver out of Washington. So they took Casey Concepcion and Denzel Boston. Wow. Wow, that's really interesting. That's very, very interesting. And to be honest with you, I think that that's actually a good pairing. You got a big body in Denzel, and you got a separator in Concepcion. That's not that shouldn't be too bad, honestly. It's not too bad. Kansas City Chiefs are on the clock. Their pick is in. Are they about to take Jermod McCoy right here and like revamp their Kyler Gordon? Oh, that's a little guy. Little guy. Little guy. R. Mason Thomas, edge out of Oklahoma. That's 2 edge picks that that's just the 1 edge pick that the Chiefs had made. Yeah. Let's take a look at this kid. .6'2", 249. Not like the biggest guy, I guess. Second round. R. Mason Thomas, let's see. Relentless pass rusher. George Karlaftis. Nwosu. Okay, that's not a bad comp there. Not bad. Denzel Boston, let's see what they say about this guy. Need for this team, but the double dip this early is a mild surprise given the presence of Jerry Jeudy, Isaiah Bond, and Cedric Tillman. None of those players are individually good enough to prevent a second receiver pick with the needs on offense. Oh, they got an offensive lineman as well. Yeah, I was very, very surprised by the Denzel Boston pick. I thought that was very shocking. Yep. Well, I don't think necessarily that he's admitting that he got the Landon Jackson wrong. I think that Landon Jackson became a scheme fit casualty. I think that he no longer fits a Sean McDermott defense, but he does not fit a Leonard defense, a Jim Leonard defense. So he's kind of like expendable now. I would like to see them kind of try to trade him personally, while people still have high regard for him. We might be able to get something out of it. Oh man. Damn. So the Cincinnati Bengals with the 9th pick of the second round has selected Cassius Howell, edge, out of Texas A&M. Cassius Howell is a guy that I really liked. I was hoping that we could get him with a trade up in the second round. Like if we had gotten a defensive line, like a defensive tackle or a linebacker, we could have got that guy. But now we still need both a defensive tackle and linebacker. New Orleans Saints, 10th pick of the second round. They need an edge, corner, guard, linebacker. If I was them, I would go linebacker. I would take C.J. Allen or Anthony Hill. But nothing has been. Christian Miller, there we go. There we go. There goes all the defensive tackles that the Buffalo Bills should have taken. Take them all. There you go, guys. You're welcome. We don't need them. Who wants a Super Bowl ring anyways? Christian Miller, dude. Am I crazy, chat? Am I crazy? Put a 1 in the chat if you think I'm crazy. Put a 2 in the chat if you think that I'm being reasonable about this. Also in the chat, tell me what you would have done right there. I would have taken Caden McDonald personally. But you tell me, what would you have done? I think it's a mistake that he went after a defensive end like that. I don't like that pick. Honestly, now that you're mentioning Landon Jackson, I think that they could probably trade him plus a 4th round pick right here and get a second rounder. We're 11 picks into the second round and the Bills still only have 1 second round pick, which I think is a problem. I think that's a problem. I think that we need another second round pick, especially after the pick that we took. We need to shore up this defense. And we're not going to shore it up with 5th round picks. It's not going to happen like that. Yeah, we need to get rid of him. He's just a dead. I don't know if they can though because of his contract. He might have dead weight, so we might have to keep him for 1 more season. All right, Miami Dolphins pick is in. The 11th pick of the second round. Miami needs a wide receiver, a corner, an edge, a tight end, and a safety. Emmanuel McNeil-Warren is still there. I would take him if I was the Dolphins right here. I would take him, Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. Who else could they take? Zion Young. We'll see what happens. The pick is in. Let's see. Let's see what they're saying about Bills. Oh, yeah. Here's some good comments. When will the Bills stop spending second rounders on depth players? Disappears in games. How is Rodriguez not the pick here? Beane must want to beef up the special teams unit with this pick. Not impressed. Looks slow. Yeah, I didn't see him dominating people on his highlights. Wow. Wow. Depth at edge. Nah. Terrible pick. Terrible pick. Not a fan at all of the Bills' first round pick. I'm giving him a C- right now. It's yet to be determined. But it might go to an F here if he doesn't make another pick in the second round. It'll go to an F if he doesn't make another pick in the second round. Tell me what you're grading Brandon Beane down in the chat. Give him a letter grade down in the chat. What do you think? I'm giving Brandon Beane a C- right now overall. Oh, yeah, perfect. So with the 11th pick in the second round, the Miami Dolphins select Jacob Rodriguez, linebacker out of Texas Tech. Perfect, yeah. Just to take all the guys that we should have been taken. What is Beane doing? Seriously, man. Like, he's got problems. Beane has some serious problems, my friends. And it's not even like Madden, you know. Oh, you're a Madden GM. Like, not even that. Like, brother, everyone could see that we need a defensive tackle. Everyone could see that. Everyone could see that we need a linebacker. Everyone sees that. But for some reason, all you see is a defensive end. Got fishing movie trivia, giving a C to Brandon Beane. Okay. You're a little more generous than I am, honestly. I'm not happy at all with this. I think that the only silver lining is that he was a defensive player. That's it. I don't even like him as a DN or an edge, to be honest with you. There's plenty of other edges that I think we could have invested in. I think it's a little of both. I think both. I think our scouts and Beane are both dropping the ball. You can't just blame Beane, you know. He's not the only person making these decisions, but he has to be blamed. He has to be blamed. He's the GM. He makes millions of dollars. The 12th pick in the second round of the NFL draft, the Lions select Derek Moore, edge out of Michigan. Not a bad pick. Not a great, sexy pick. Not a bad pick. I'll tell you, I'll be honest with you. This draft is not falling how I thought it would, and I think that happens every single year. If this draft is falling the way that you thought, put a 1 in the chat. If it's not, put a 2 in the chat. All right, we got the Ravens picking at 13 here on the clock. They need a corner, they need a safety, they need a D tackle, and a wide receiver. We need to get back into the second round. It's almost halfway over. What are we doing? Okay. All right, so now I'm looking at guys like Lee Hunter and Big Orange on defensive tackle, on the nose tackle. CJ Allen is still available. I think that is our next logical pick if he's still there, which he probably won't be unless we trade up. Yeah, the edge is getting gobbled up. Honestly, though, I think that we're okay with the edge because I think that our 3 technique defensive tackles that we had can be bumped out, and they can play the 4 and the 5. And then we can use our linebackers to set the edge. We could use guys like Rousseau and Hoyt to set the edge instead of using our linemen. And the Ravens pick is in. I wonder what the Ravens are going to do. I wouldn't be surprised if they take Jermod McCoy or Avian Terrell right here. They need a corner. Those guys are like some of the best guys left available. I think that it's a, I mean, again, they're not taking best available guys according to this ranking here. So, you know, not necessarily the best available, and probably be somebody different, but this is where it really starts getting interesting because we've already seen wild picks and like there's just no way to predict this anymore, and so we're just here for the ride now. Yeah, agreed. And we didn't even have to. And honestly, I don't really care so much about edge number 7, to be honest. I care about who we passed up instead, where we took them. And I think that, like, what we're using him for, like, what's he going to do? Is he just like Groot again, or... Because he doesn't look like a great pass rusher like that. So I don't know. Taking an edge in this NFL early in the draft is not a bad idea if your roster construction calls for it, right? Like, if you have absolutely no one on your team, or if you have absolutely no holes on your team, taking an edge is really smart, you know? Taking an edge if you absolutely need one is pretty smart as well, but taking an edge if you need depth or competition, like, is he going to start? Is he going to start at edge? Because I know that Caden McDonald would have started at nose tackle. Right? Did we pick up a starter or did we pick up a rotation piece? Yeah, and again, it's not we need someone that's going to really bother the quarterback. That's what we haven't had. Also, we need to stop the run. That's what we haven't had. The linebacker and the D tackle are going to help us with that, not the edge player. Or I should say, not the edge player could help us get to the quarterback, but not the power edge who sets the edge and is not like real true pass rusher. I guess that's what I'm saying. It's like, it doesn't really matter about the number 7 edge. It matters like he's not a pass rusher. You know, he's an edge setter. And we have guys that could do that already. It's redundant talent, essentially. All right, the Baltimore Ravens pick is in. Let's see what they go with. I don't know. I really think that the Bills need to get back up into the second, though. Like, I think it's a real matter of like life and death, kinda. You really, really gotta do it. Would you look at it? Would you just look at it? I don't know. Whatever. All right, so the pick is in for the Ravens. With the 13th pick in the second round of the 2026 NFL Draft, the Ravens select Zion Young, edge out of Missouri. My. The rich just keep getting richer, don't they? First all SEC 3-point stance. Can also serve as a stand-up edge rusher. Strength and power at the point of attack. He's primarily a straight line rusher and struggles to decelerate, change directions, and redirect. Exceptional value. He doesn't profile as a 10 sack guy, but they have Trey Hendrickson. Wow. So that's the guy that they needed. They have a pass rusher. They needed an edge setter. They got a good one. Okay. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are now on the clock. They're picking 14th in the second round of the 2026 NFL Draft. They need a corner, defensive tackle, linebacker, and a tight end. I thought that they took a wide receiver or a tight end. And the pick is in with the 13th pick. Sorry, with the 14th pick of the second round of the NFL Draft. Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Josiah Trotter, linebacker out of Missouri. So, good pick. You know, mid-second round pick. This guy's going to probably end up starting. Can't be mad at that. Cannot be mad at that. Let's see what they have to say about TJ Parker. They'll sign Bradley Chubb in free agency to add more pass rush help opposite of Greg Rousseau, but Parker adds a level upside that Chubb doesn't possess anymore at this point of his career. A year ago, this pick would have looked like an absolute steal. If Parkin came back to 12, 20. That's always what it is a guy year removed from being good. You know? It's always, oh, he was good the year before. If he can get back to how he played before, those are the guys that Brandon Beane salivates over. Guys that used to be good in college. I hate that. I hate that. It's deflating as a Bills fan, you know, like it's deflating to like not have any influence over it. It's deflating to not have a voice that Brandon Beane can hear, you know. It just sucks, man. Like, it's year after year. It's never, and no one's ever gonna agree on who, you know. But like, when's the last time we took a pick and everybody was like, yeah, you know? Again, it goes back to Beane is living off of the Diggs trade, because that's the biggest excitement that the Bills have had with him. People weren't even happy about Josh Allen, you know? Diggs was literally the biggest thing, and I guess Von Miller. Diggs and Von Miller were the two biggest hypes that Brandon Beane got. Steelers with the 15th pick in the second round of the 2026 NFL Draft select Jeremy Bernard, wide receiver, Alabama. This was not a need of theirs. They're foregoing getting a guard, safety, and D tackle. Which leads us to the Atlanta Falcons being on the clock. With a 16th pick in the second round of the 2026 NFL Draft, they need, I think this is their first pick, honestly. They went 8-9 in the NFC South, which is garbage. They need a D tackle, wide receiver, linebacker, corner, and an offensive tackle. Yeah, tons of holes to fill. Tons. But like that's what I'm tired of, is just having a bunch of draft picks to fill holes. Like, filling holes is cool, but I would rather have like a couple empty spaces, like a couple spaces where we're not really that great, to have like real top-notch all-pro type players in different spots. Like, what I don't understand is how the Ravens have 8 Pro Bowlers on their team and the Buffalo Bills have 2. And then somehow the Ravens can go out and get and trade for Max Crosby. They have enough cap space to do that. Or they can pivot immediately and go get Hendrickson. Meanwhile, the Bills are struggling to even get under the cap. And who we have 2 Pro Bowl. Who do we even have on this team that we're struggling to get under the cap? Josh Allen, they have Lamar Jackson. They're paying him. Oh, we're paying Cook. They're paying Henry. They're like basically in the exact same boat, except they somehow can make moves, and Beane can't. And instead of getting Oliva Vega as our super dominant guard, and then getting a steal edge in the second round, instead of that, we're trading back. We don't need a first round pick. We're going to trade back and get all these filler players. We're going to be better than average at all of the positions instead of exceptional at some of them. I think to say that we don't have any stars on defense, I don't think is entirely true. I think Christian Benford actually is a star corner, but the defense is just so underwhelming that he doesn't get credit for it. You know what I mean? We don't see it because the rest of the defense is underwhelming. They just stay away from him. It's like one year I remember Nnamdi Asomugha was a corner for the Raiders, and I think he literally had like 2 passes defended all year, and he made the Pro Bowl and the first team All-Pro. And the reason wasn't because of his stats, it was actually because of his lack of stats. They wouldn't throw the ball to his side. He didn't follow receivers, he just played one side. They would not throw the ball that way. They just wouldn't. And so because people were so terrified to go to that side of the field, he got selected to All-Pro and a Pro Bowl. So, like, I think Christian Benford is a silent star on the defense. But you're right. I think that we don't have, like, a game changer on defense. You know, we don't have a Chris Jones on defense. We don't have a guy that's going to make a play on defense, you know? And Caden McDonald was not that guy. He's not going to be that guy that makes the play. But what he is going to be is the guy that shores up the run defense and anchors the rest of the defense so that our linebackers can play clean. If we're taking edges in the early second round, they should be guys that are getting to the quarterback, not to guys that could eventually develop into that. Exactly. No one that defenses have to be like, oh man, our offenses have to really be concerned about, like, know where this person is at all times, you know? And you don't see teams winning like that. Like the Seahawks last year had multiple guys like that on defense. So TJ Parker, I don't think is going to be that guy. Caden McDonald would have been a double team guy. He would have taken on double teams. That would have been his role. And that's going to be his role in Houston while we watch him. With the 16th pick in the second round of the NFL draft, the Atlanta Falcons select corner Avion Terrell out of Clemson. Looks like this is a steal. ESPN had him ranked as the 22 overall player and number 3 cornerback. It fills a position of need for the Falcons, who still need a D tackle, wide receiver, linebacker, and offensive tackle. Which leads us to the Minnesota Vikings being on the clock with the 17th pick in the second round. 49th overall pick. The Vikings need a safety, a center, a wide receiver, a guard, or a linebacker here. I hope that they don't go for C.J. Allen. Where are the Buffalo Bills? Where are the Bills? Do you think it's a good idea that the Bills are not trading up into the second round? Put a 1 in the chat if you would be okay with them not taking a second pick in the second round, and put a 2 in the chat if you think that it's absolutely mandatory to take a second pick in the second round here, like I do. I think that the only way that we're going to get out of this draft somewhat unscathed is if we take another pick here in the second round. And we have a trade at the 17th pick. Carolina Panthers are now on the clock. I don't know when the run on linebackers will start, but I hope it's around when we're picking. I hope we're in the middle of it. Or else we're going to get a whole bunch of special teams players. Man, Brandon Beane, what are you doing, brother? All right, so Carolina Panthers pick is in. Let's see what they're doing. Oh, Avion Terrell is the younger brother of AJ Terrell, all pro. Wow, very interesting. Hard to care anymore. 2 people should have been fired, and one is still cosplaying as a GM. Crazy. He fits the scheme as an outside linebacker in a 3-4 defense. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. 5-2 defense. Yeah, no. This is this is not good. This is definitely not good. Brandon Beane is the things nightmares are made out of. It's crazy. Oh, with the 17th pick in the second round, the Panthers select Lee Hunter, D tackle out of Texas Tech. Man, that was another guy that we needed. I don't know, man. Yeah, no, I think it's impossible to know if they're going to be there or not, right? And so we shouldn't wait for the run. We should trade up and go start the run on linebackers. We should be the first one that takes the linebacker run and starts the run. But Brandon Beane's going to miss the boat because that's what he does. I can't believe that he took TJ Parker. What a waste of a pick. How much draft capital has he spent at the defensive end position? And what do we have to show for it? Has he ever drafted a 10-sack defensive end? Beane gonna Beane. We need to get rid of him. We need him out. We need him out. What do you guys think? Am I tripping? Do you guys think that I'm tripping? Or am I being reasonable here? Because this guy is just running roughshod over our team. He got our head coach fired, you know? Granted, the coach should have been fired. That 13 seconds game was abysmal, and he should have been fired after that. But Beane should have been fired with him. 100%. And really, the Ravens, like, I keep bringing the Ravens up because it's like the blueprint. It's not like the blueprint of the NFL or whatever, but this guy, Eric D'Souza, is in the same exact position as Brandon Beane was coming into the season. except he had less. I think he had less draft capital, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe not. But either way, like, he was in the same position, and his team missed the playoffs, so he was in the hot seat. His head coach got fired. He has an MVP quarterback that he's paying for. Underperforming defense. So when you measure him against this is a direct measurement. It's apples to apples, you know, and then you start seeing, well, this guy is just safe and playing it safe. You know, that's not how you win championships. That's how you build good teams. But to win championships, you have to take risks. The always wonderful Bruce Arians said it best: no risk it, no biscuit. So, like, I don't know what Beane thinks he's doing, but he's not doing it. Beane is not him. Exactly. We could have traded back and still taken Parker. Yeah, I really don't see CJ Allen or Hill falling to the third round. We need a second round pick. We need to trade up into the second round. So that's really our saving grace right now, is if we trade up to the second round. If we don't do that, we're not fixing this defense this year. It's probably going to be a rough year on defense with the transition, without having the personnel that we'll need to make the transition. And I think that if we can't shore up the defense, we're missing the playoffs this year. There's just too many good AFC teams. The Jets have made a selection with the 18th pick in the second round of the 2026 NFL Draft. They've selected D'Angelo Pons, cornerback out of Indiana, which satisfies a position of need for them after trading away Sauce Gardner. Fair. As soon as the next linebacker's taken up. I mean, yeah, because there's three linebackers that I would take, and there's two that I would like to have. I don't know enough about Hill, but yeah, if one of them's taken, preferably Hill, we could draft or trade up at that moment to see, you know, if we can get him, which that's actually kind of smart, because then that way we're spending the absolute least amount of draft capital possible. But it shouldn't have even gotten to this point. We should have already had Caden McDonald on this squad. That way, if we don't have a linebacker like that right now, we can. Caden McDonald would have made linebackers better. So, like, we could have taken a third round or a fourth round linebacker if we had gotten Caden McDonald. But, you know, it's in the past, and we have TJ Parker on our squad now. I'm going to have to look into him. I'll probably end up doing a video on him. So make sure that you like, subscribe, comment in the chat, but definitely subscribe to the channel so that you could check out the videos on my post-draft analysis on these players here. Minnesota Vikings are on the clock with the 19th pick in the second round, and their pick is in. News coming in from Adam Schefter: the Baltimore Ravens will play the Dallas Cowboys in the 2026 NFL Rio game in Brazil. The matchup will take place on Sunday, September 27th at the iconic Maracanã Stadium. I'm not a fan of the international games. I'm not a fan of the international games. This is the National Football League, not the International Football League. If they want to do a global football league, they should make a Major League Football League. That's why I respect baseball as the best league in the world, because they are the major league. They're not a national league. Now, the American League and the National League happen to play in the major leagues, but it's still the major leagues. It's not the National Association or whatever, you know? With the 19th pick in the second round, the Minnesota Vikings select linebacker Jake Galladay out of Cincinnati. I think this is where the your strategy comes in for the Flash movie strategy there in the chat. We need to trade up right now with the Green Bay Packers so that we can get this linebacker, because the Packers might take a linebacker here as well. I think it's really likely that they'll take a linebacker. Anthony Hill is someone that's falling, that needs to actually stop plummeting. Yeah, I think we missed out not taking a nose tackle. I think that Caden McDonald would have made other players better, which is why you take him there. I mean, people would have been happy with him in the first round. Should have taken him. I think that was a mistake. Total mistake by Brandon Beane, not taking Caden McDonald. That's going to come back to bite us in the butt. I guarantee it. But he can still somewhat redeem himself if he trades back up into the second right now, because we're at pick 52. And our next pick is 66. That's 12 picks from now. Crazy. Absolute madness. I'll be honest, this is a pretty exciting draft, though. Like, it's been up and down and wild and left and right, but it hasn't really been like too shocking and crazy. You know, it hasn't. I mean, it's had its moments, but for the most part, it's been no real, like, what are you doing? Like, I mean, there was a couple, but sometimes like Jamarcus Russell pick, you know, like, wow, you know, like, there hasn't been one of those, so I think we're doing okay. This is a pretty good draft so far. What do you guys think in the chat? You think that this draft has been entertaining so far, to say the least? Or have you been left with more to be desired, to say the least? Put a 1 in the chat if you think it's been entertaining. Put a 2 in the chat if it's been frustrating for you. Yeah, I don't think Parker is going to be a starter like that. I don't think that he's I don't think Parker's a starter. I think that he's a kind of a developmental guy. I think that he's going to need some time, and he needs to get better at certain things, which is why it's kind of shocking, because Caden McDonald needs to get better at pass rushing, but when you're a zero tech nose tackle, that's not your job. So it's like they were nitpicking him, you know, whereas Parker needs to fundamentally get better at things that an edge needs to be good at, you know. Green Bay Packers pick is in, the 20th pick. Yeah, I think this Brandon Cease with the 20th pick, corner out of South Carolina, going to the Packers. I don't know too much about this kid. Let's see what they have to say. Desmond Trufant is his pro comp. He can get caught when trying to change directions. That doesn't sound too enticing. Indianapolis Colts are on the clock with the 21st pick in the second round of the NFL draft. They need an edge, a wide receiver, a linebacker, a safety, and a center. They started out hot last year, one of the best teams in the league. I knew that it was fake because Daniel Jones isn't him, but I had Jonathan Taylor on my fantasy football team, and he may be the best running back in the NFL. The most talented running back in the NFL, I should say. Maybe. I don't want to go lower, though. I want to go right here and get a linebacker. Because CJ Allen is still there, and he can literally be the green dot linebacker for the next 10 years here. You know, like, he can be that guy. It's like 50-50, you know, great odds. Especially since Rodriguez is gone, you know. We need that Mike. We need that quarterback on the defense. And I'd rather have a Georgia player, you know. Georgia's in a lot of big games. It's hard to rattle their players. They play against great competition. I agree, yeah. I think that this is where we... Oh... Just as we were talking about, we need to trade up right here for the linebacker, and in the chat you said it. This is where the value's at pick 21 in the second round of the NFL draft. The Indianapolis Colts select CJ Allen, linebacker from Georgia. Man, that's devastating. That is devastating. Brandon Beane, man. I feel like Brandon Beane just stole my lunch money. This is nuts, dude. Unreal. Unreal. So what, he didn't have a second round pick on CJ Allen or on Caden McDonald? If we don't get Hill, then we're going to F territory for the Beane draft this year. Because this is nuts. Philadelphia Eagles with the 22nd pick in the NFL draft. They traded up earlier in the draft to get Mekhi Lemon, who was wasted at the combine or at the draft. And in his post-draft interview, I highly recommend going and checking that out. Very entertaining stuff. The Eagles need an edge, a tight end, an offensive tackle, a linebacker, and a safety. And the pick is in with the 22nd pick of the second round of the NFL draft. The Philadelphia Eagles select Eli Stowers, tight end out of Vanderbilt. This addresses one of their needs at tight end. They have Goddard, but they do need some depth behind him. Let's see what they say about this kid, because to be honest with you, I didn't really look at many tight ends because of our situation. So I didn't really take the time to dive into any tight ends. Let's see what they say. Eli Stowers. Converted quarterback, set NFL combine records for a tight end in the broad jump and vertical jump. In his 2 years at Vanderbilt, the Commodores found a multitude of ways to get him the ball. Stowers is very fluid for his size, bringing exceptional bursts and explosive power for a tight end. He has the large catch radius of a wide receiver and is a vertical threat, but he isn't extremely physical when blocking in the box. Stowers will strike but not move defenders. So he's basically a glorified wide receiver. ESPN has him ranked as the 36th overall pick, meaning that the Eagles got a steal according to ESPN. And now we have the New England Patriots picking at 23. The Patriots' needs are a D tackle, a tight end, a safety, and an edge. I wouldn't be surprised if they take Emmanuel McNeil Warren here, because that's probably who I would take. There's no real D tackles at the moment that you could really invest in. Man, it really sucks watching the guys that you wanted evaporate off the board. It's even more frustrating watching guys that we needed evaporate off the board. Super crazy. Super duper crazy. I don't like Brandon Beane's draft strategy. I'm not a fan of the Beane draft. They should take his draft responsibilities away. Nah. Crazy. All right, so let's see. Let's check. Yeah, we do. We sure do. This is nuts, man. Like, Brandon Beane passing on talented skill positions for another rotational defensive end. That is funny. That's hilarious. What an idiot, Woods. All right, let's see what's going on here. Toledo safety, yeah. Emmanuel McNeil Warren. I think the Patriots are about to take him right now, honestly. Yeah, the run on linebackers just started. And just as we were talking about it too, you called it. You really called it. That's when the linebacker runs kind of happened. And like I said, we should have started it because we ended up getting screwed and holding the bag. Patriots with the 23rd pick. They go with Gabe Yakas, edge out of Illinois. Jakas? I don't know. I don't know how to say that. That fulfills a need at edge that the Patriots had. And this is a news update from Adam Schefter. Vikings are sending former Pro Bowl linebacker Jonathan Grenard to the Philadelphia Eagles in exchange for a third-round pick, number 98, tonight, and a third-round pick next year. Interesting. That's an interesting trade. The Jaguars are on the clock with the 24th pick in the second round of the NFL draft. The Jaguars need a D tackle, an edge, a linebacker, a corner, and a running back. But seeing as though no one is really taking what they need in this draft, that doesn't really matter, does it? This draft is weird. This draft has been weird. I give the draft itself like an A- for how entertaining it's been, you know? A lot of good things to talk about, a lot of surprises, a lot of things that went well for the NFL in general with the draft. We have some guys falling, which is always good for stories, you know? Last year it was Shedeur going to the 5th. But I think that this has been more entertaining because, like, last year, the whole draft was just talking about Shedeur the whole time. It was boring as hell. With the 24th pick in the second round of the NFL draft, Jacksonville Jaguars select Nate Boerkerker, Borkircher, tight end out of Texas A&M. And sure enough, it is none of those needs that I listed off. So, way to go, me. I don't know, man. Brandon Beane's got to go. I think he's got to go. I really, really think that Brandon Beane has got to go. I mean, it on one hand, it's nerve-wracking because, like, who are we going to get to replace him? Who's the obvious GM candidate that we should take to replace him, you know? But then it's like, well, what do? We just be mediocre forever? Just live in the 26th pick every year and watch Brandon Beane trade down every single year? Makes no sense. It makes no sense. And it's not like we haven't seen this before, right? Brandon Beane always wastes draft capital on defensive ends. And it's always defensive ends that are going to be rotational pieces. Never a defensive end that's going to actually come in and start wrecking shop. Let me know, chat. What would you do in this situation here with the Bills? If you were Brandon Beane right now, what would you do? What route would you take right now if you were Brandon Beane? Put it down in the chat. Man. I knew I shouldn't trust Brandon Beane, dude. I knew I shouldn't trust Brandon Beane. I knew it. I knew it. Last night I left the draft upset. I was more upset than I needed to be because I didn't realize that we had a second round pick still. So like I was more upset than I needed to be for sure. But I knew my gut was telling me that even though what he did was legit with getting picks, that we shouldn't trust it, you know? I just knew we shouldn't trust it. Exactly. We need starters, man. We don't need, like, filling out the roster's fine, but look at these other teams. They're willing to go take a shot on better players and have some positions that may have under talented players, you know? And there's places you can get away with that, like nickel corner and strong safety. And I mean, hell, even off-ball linebacker, you can get away with being a little bit less talented. But I mean, even if we did get good players, right? Beane doesn't even keep them anyways. Like we had to let go of Tremaine Edmonds, you know? So like, even if we draft these guys, are they going to be on the team later? Granted, at this point, I don't really care about later. I want to win a Super Bowl now. We need to see a Super Bowl now. It's been too long. It's been too close. We need a Super Bowl now. So trade all the first picks. Trade all the second picks. Get a game changer. Get a game wrecker. Get someone that is going to really, really take us to the next level. That's not DJ Moore. That's not fifth round picks. Man. Brandon Beane, I tell you what. I hope Brandon Beane doesn't live in Buffalo. Because that's not a threat, but he's... I feel sorry for him if he lives in Buffalo because he's probably going to have a tough time. He called into the radio station. He might have to make another call. Insane. The Bears are on the clock with the 25th pick in the second round of the NFL draft, and the pick is in. Chicago Bears need a D tackle, an edge, a corner, and a wide receiver. So they're going to take Anthony Hill, the best linebacker available. Watch. Because that's how this draft has been going. Man. So many people are upset on X. So many people. I don't blame them. I do not blame them. Nicole, Bills Mafia. Yeah. Get another edge rusher. Yeah. Trusting the process. Ask me again in 3 years. No. Nope. No one likes this pick. Bills Mafia. Only it looks like it's like about a third of people. A third of people of Bills Mafia looks like they're happy or unhappy with this pick. Only one third of Bills Mafia looks like they're happy with this pick. Everybody else is pissed. The 25th pick in the second round of the NFL draft, the Chicago Bears select Logan James, center out of Iowa. Logan Jones, center out of Iowa. Yeah, see, now we're starting to get into the weeds here of who's going to be taken. What do you guys think about Emmanuel Pregnon? He's a guard out of Oregon. Pretty good player. ESPN has him ranked as the 47th overall player. Do you think that we should take a guard at 66 if there's one available like him? Put a 1 in the chat if you take a guard. Put a 2 in the chat if you think we should still stick to defense. The Browns have made a selection at pick 26 in the second round of the NFL draft. They selected safety Emmanuel McNeil-Warren out of Toledo. He fell a lot. That's a huge pick. The Browns are low-key crushing this draft right now. The Browns are low-key crushing this draft. They got a good offensive tackle. They got 2 startable wide receivers. And then they just got one of the best safeties in the draft and one of the better players in the draft. First round talent. Yeah. In the third round, I think wide receiver is cool because that's where I was expecting us to take one. But I would only be cool with it if we've addressed either nose tackle or linebacker. Otherwise, we're just filling depth again and not finding starting players, you know? okay with Pregnon. Yeah, I think Pregnon is actually not a bad pick if there's no like defensive guy or like a standout wide receiver that's there. I think Pregnon would be really good at guard to compete for that starting spot. I wouldn't be mad at that pick. It's not like I want that pick, but I wouldn't be upset at that pick. Okay. Houston Texans, the pick is in for the 27th pick. They still need a center, a corner, and an edge. And they've selected Marlon Klein, tight end out of Michigan. Wow. I think that's a reach. Wow. I think that's a bad pick. I think that's a bad pick. I think that they reached on this guy. Wow, that was probably one of the worst picks I've seen in the draft so far. Marlon Klein, terrible. Yeah, Big O, big Jerry O. Jerry O! I mean, I'm sure that Jerry O wanted a big body on defense as well. He strikes me as the type of guy that understands the value of the big men in the trenches, you know? I think that that's where games are won and lost. I think that, like, if I was to do, let's say I was to do like a Madden fantasy draft, like create a custom league where myself and some friends were to do like a snake draft to make, like, let's say I select, I want to be the Buffalo Bills, but we clear the rosters and then we do a snake draft to fill the Buffalo Bills roster, right? I would start with a quarterback. That would be my number one pick, obviously. Unless I didn't have a good draft selection, like Bo Nix was going to be my first pick, right? But, like, let's assume I have the third or second pick. I'm taking Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes or Joe Burrow, Matt Stafford or something, you know? But the next pick that I'm taking is going to be the center or a tackle or a defensive end, edge rusher. And then I'm just going to start filling the lines back and forth, and every third player will be a skill position player. And I think that that is the best way to build a team from scratch, because I think that the best players should be the players that are in the trenches. Your best players should be linemen and linebackers on defense. Because if that's the case, then the rest of the defense has an advantage. They don't have to work as hard. It's like having a really good run game on the offense. It's good for the receivers. So the same is true for the front seven on the defense. And our offensive line is pretty set, so I don't really have any gripes too much about that. I mean, I think that we could go this whole draft without taking an offensive lineman, and we'll still be okay. All right, Tennessee is on the clock, and their pick is in, the 28th pick of the second round. So we're getting near the end of the second round here. Buffalo has not traded up into the second round as far as I can tell. Which is extremely disheartening. Nope. We got Titans, Rams, Broncos, Chargers, Seahawks. Anthony Hill is still available. Anthony Hill, linebacker out of Texas, is still available. And if we get to 32, what is that? 64. So we have the second pick in the third round. So we're coming up on our pick here. And of course, with the 28th pick, the Tennessee Titans select Anthony Hill Jr., linebacker out of Texas. Why wouldn't they? Why would they be so kind to leave us a linebacker? Why would they do that? Brandon Beane is cooked. Brandon Beane is cooked. Wow, dude. Wow. Caleb Elam's Orr was mentioned earlier in the chat. I think that should probably be our linebacker pick. Dante Lawson isn't too bad. Unreal. Absolutely unreal. As far as the defensive tackles are concerned, Dominique Orange is my highest rated so far, left on the board. Iowa State D tackle. The Los Angeles Rams with the 29th pick in the second round of the NFL draft select Max Clare, tight end out of Ohio State. Yeah, as far as D tackle is concerned, I've heard stuff about Darrell Jackson as well. Pretty good stuff about Darrell Jackson from Florida State. And then as far as receivers is concerned, I like Ted Hurst. Oh, they did it. The Buffalo Bills have traded up into the second round at pick 30. And they are now on the clock. Yes. Buffalo has traded back up into the second round. They're going to take their second selection of the second round here at pick number 30 in the second round. And I'm hoping that it's Orange. Pregnon could go here. Orange, Pregnon, Xavier Harris might go here. D-tackle. Chris Bell. I like Chris Bell a lot. Wide receiver out of Louisville. I really like him. Jason Kilgore is a good safety out of South Carolina. Bills have traded up, and they are on the clock in the second round for the 30th pick. Yeah, no. Beane messed up not trading earlier up into the round. As soon as he saw these linebackers going, he should have traded back up. That leads me to believe that he's going after a... he's going to take Orr, and he's going after a lineman here, D-tackle, or safety, or wide receiver, something that's not a linebacker. All right, the Buffalo Bills pick is in. Let's go. Let's go. Buffalo. Let's see what's going on. Buffalo Bills. The pick is in. We still need, according to ESPN, we need a wide receiver, linebacker, guard, or corner. Stressing me out. Stressing me out, brother. Do not take a wide receiver here, Brandon Beane. Do not take a wide receiver. Yep. I would not be mad with Pregnon right here. Pregnon is arguably a first-round talent. So I would not be mad with Pregnon right here as an offensive guard. You're right. Beane is an idiot. He let the linebacker slip by. So I wouldn't spend time on linebacker here either. I think that we take Orange or Pregnon right here. Come on, man. The pick is in. It's been in. It's taking forever to get updated. Let's see if I can find it on X first. TJ Parker. It's not who. Bills are on the clock. Yeah. Okay. Let's go, Bills. Come on, let's go. Let's get someone good, man. What? What? Davison Igbenasson? Who is this guy? Yeah, I'm on a fire Brandon Beane pit tip. That's what my channel is going to be all about this season. Fire Brandon Beane. He's done. He's cooked. We can't win with him. I want winners. Don't want them. Don't need them. We need winners. Brandon Beane, you're out of here, brother. What are we doing trading up for a corner? He runs a 4.5 40. Oh my goodness. Chat, put a 1 in the chat if I'm on Punk'd right now. And like this is a show and Ashton Kutcher is going to come out and like be like, ha ha, just kidding. And put a 2 in the chat if this is my worst nightmare. Freddy Krueger style. Nightmare. F. Brandon Beane gets an F. What do you give him? Put your letter grade in the chat as well. What you give Brandon Beane for this pick. This is unbelievable. We traded with Denver. What did we give up for this guy? For this project cornerback? $66 and $182. So now we don't even have a 3rd round pick. Now we don't even have a 3rd round pick. He's got all those 4th round picks sitting there. So we don't pick again until like 100 and something, 101. We're on pick 30. That's 70 picks. Oh my goodness, dude. I can't believe that this is happening right now. I can't believe that this is happening right now. Hashtag fire Brandon Beane. Unreal. Unreal. Unbelievable. I really can't believe it. I cannot believe it. Unreal. That's all I'm doing from now on is just hashtag fire Brandon Beane. I'm not even gonna really. I'm not gonna talk about this. I'm just gonna. I'm just gonna put a fire Brandon Beane. Yeah. Yeah. Jamon McCoy was right there. Right there. Unreal. Brandon Beane doesn't know what he's doing. Unreal. Unreal. I can't believe. I don't even know what else to say. This is terrible. This is terrible. Brandon Beane is absolutely terrible. Fire Brandon Beane. Hashtag Fire Brandon Beane everywhere. I want to make a change.org petition to fire Brandon Beane. We need to get signatures. Let's get some signatures going. Yeah, no, this is I mean, the fact that he passed up on guys is one thing, but the fact that he traded up to take a no-name corner when one of the best corners in the draft was still sitting there. That makes no sense. Unreal. Unreal. That's crazy, man. Oh my goodness. Look at this. This is hilarious. I like this. This is good. This is good. This is good. I'd have taken every pick since the Bills picked over TJ Parker from Aaron Quinn. Shout out Aaron Quinn. That's hilarious. That meme is so funny. Man, brother, you gotta laugh. If you don't laugh, you'll cry. Yeah, no, definitely that kid would have been there in the next round, and probably the round after that. That was probably a 4th round pick that he drafted right there. He traded up for a 4th round pick. Absolutely terrible Brandon Beane. Fire Brandon Beane. Put it in the chat. Hashtag Fire Brandon Beane. Yeah, that's what I said. The caveman NFL. Check this out. Yeah, I waited to pile on Beane for trading back until I saw the picks. This feels like he's sabotaging the Bills. I agree. I feel like he's trying to break it. Unreal. That's crazy to me. Goodness. Fire Brandon Beane. Hashtag Fire Brandon Beane everywhere. Hashtag Fire Brandon Beane everywhere. Put it in the chat. Put it everywhere. Anywhere you can. Fire Brandon Beane. Yeah, this is crazy. This can't be real life. Oh my goodness, man. Unreal. Unreal. Look at this. Wow. How is it that I forgot what I was going to say. It doesn't make sense. Oh yeah, how is it that the entire Bills Mafia fan base knows that we need certain things, but Brandon Beane does not know this? How is that possible? How is that a thing? Because we may not agree on who, but everybody knew that we need a D tackle, a linebacker, a wide receiver, or a guard. We don't need a corner. It doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Absolutely garbage picks. Brandon Beane, you're terrible. Man, I don't think that we can survive another draft with Brandon Beane. I think we're going to start being a bad team if we keep letting him draft. Unbelievable. I can't believe this. I don't know what else to say. I wish that I was the one picking for you guys. Yeah, 0 impact players in the draft so far. We're not getting better. Our competition's getting better. The Bills are stuck with Brandon Beane. Brandon Beane is not a championship general manager. Brandon Beane is a team builder general manager who has capped out his ceiling here in Buffalo. Brandon Beane, you gotta go. Hashtag fire Brandon Beane. Communication. It's nuts. Man. All right. This is craziness. Bills don't have a pick in the third round now. And honestly, I just don't see them taking anyone worthwhile. The NFL is conducting a drug test on Mekhi Lemon this morning after he appeared to be visibly high during last night's draft. Hilarious. I don't know what to say, guys. I'm kind of at a loss for words here. I think that Brandon Beane just ruined our draft. I think Brandon Beane just put us in a terrible position. I seriously don't think that we're making the playoffs next year. I don't think that we're going to make the playoffs next year. We don't have a third round pick. We have the first pick in the fourth round at 101. And we have 125, 126. We have 3 fourth round picks. So Beane is going to trade both of those fourth rounders to get into the third round. And then he's going to take a player that's going to need 2 years to develop, and then he's going to get fired. Beane doesn't know how to evaluate talent, is what I think. I don't think Brandon Beane I mean, just look at Brandon Beane. He's not an athlete either, you know? Like, what the hell does he know about athletes? You know what I mean? Like, I just think that he doesn't know what he's doing when it comes to evaluating talent. That's just my take on it. There's no way I mean, to be fair, even the Josh Allen pick was technically at the time a bad pick, right? He was taking a kid that was unpolished, that needed a lot of work and a lot of coaching. No one knew if he was going to make it or not. From Wyoming. A kid that got no offers out of high school, right? That's technically a bad pick. It worked out. Luckily, thank God. I'm so grateful that we have Josh Allen. But I mean, can you point to like sustained success in the draft by Brandon Beane? I don't think that there's really any one guy that we could point to and say that guy is a monster and makes our team astronomically better because he's on it, that Brandon Beane has drafted. I don't think that there's one. And even when a couple years ago when we were really, really popping off, Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde were guys that we brought in. We didn't draft those guys. We traded for Von Miller. We traded for Stephon Diggs. I don't think Brandon Beane can draft. I don't think Brandon Beane knows what talent looks like. He traded Wyatt Teller for 4th and 5th round pick, or 5th and 6th round pick, or something stupid. Oh man. I'm giving this draft is an F for the Buffalo Bills and Brandon Beane. Terrible picks, terrible decision making. Traded up for back end wide receiver that we could have got 2 rounds later. There's no hope, I think, for this draft. I think this draft is done. I think we're cooked in this draft here. I think that this draft has run its course. I don't think that there's any players that Brandon Beane can get to make up for what we haven't got. And our main competitors are just getting better. The Houston Texans traded up for Caden McDonald immediately as soon as they saw that we didn't take him. This is really difficult for me. I don't even want to talk about this anymore, honestly. This is I don't know what to say because I'm just upset and I just want to curse him out, you know? I feel like I keep saying the same thing over and over. I can't believe it, but I can't. It's insane to me. What the hell happened? What the hell actually happened? Right? I mean, can anybody else explain exactly what we just witnessed here? Hey, Flash, thank you very much, brother. I appreciate you being here for the live stream and the draft. Sorry that it didn't work out great, but hopefully Josh Allen can overcome all of this in the end. We'll see you later, bud. Man. Incredible. Carson Beck goes to the Cardinals, quarterback out of Miami. Tyler Onyedim goes to the Broncos, D tackle out of Texas A&M. Beck might play immediately. Oh, Jacoby Brissett is there in Arizona. All right, we got the Bears on the clock. Kerryon Crawford, edge from Auburn, was taken by the Las Vegas Raiders. And Markel Bell was taken by the Eagles. Offensive tackle from Miami. That guy's huge. 6'9", 346. Whoa, dude, that's a big guy. Wow. All right. Man, let's see who's still on the board. Not like it matters. Jamad McCoy is still there. Pregnon is still there. Xavier Harris is there. Dominique Orange, Chris Bell. Man, terrible draft. Terrible draft. I mean, we could get Dominique Orange. That'd be chill. Xavier Harris would be chill. Malachi Fields would not be chill. Don't do it. Do not do it. Don't do it. Jennings Dunker. I like him. I like that name, Jennings Dunker. Dude has a mullet. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right. Let's go back and see what's going on with these picks. Sam Roush, Stanford tight end, going to the Bears. Who the hell are you, Sam Roush? Lacks a great first step. All right. All right, guys. I don't think that we're going to get any guys in this round here. I really don't. So we're going to stick it out until the end of the round because we, just in case, we're going to be here for any Bills picks. Romello Height. Yeah, see, this is where things are just getting wild because I don't know these guys. I've never looked at these guys. Stand-up edge rusher. Unbelievable, folks. Unbelievable draft. We could have had so many good players. And instead, we're left with rotational pieces. That's insane. It would be one thing if, we missed out on guys or whatever, But Brandon Beane just literally said, nah, we don't need any. Nah, we're good. Oh, you know what? Let me trade up real quick, actually. There's a 17th ranked cornerback that I think is intriguing. Man, are you... Unreal. Unreal, dude. Unreal. So what do you guys think the Bills will do next? What do you think is up next for us? Think Brandon Beane's going to mess it up even more? Do you think that he's going to figure it out? I don't know. I don't know if he'll figure it out. I'll be honest. I really just don't know if he will figure it out. It doesn't seem like he will. So many chances, so many opportunities. And this one specifically is crazy because it fell just so right for him. He choked it away. Choke artist. Choke artist. Unreal, dude. This is what we do. We just choke it away. That's what the Bills do, man. We've been chokers for a long time now. And we have a general manager that embodies that. Unreal. Unreal. Is that real life, dude? I can't believe this. pick is in for Washington. 7th pick in the 3rd round. Going a little quicker here. Picking up the pace. Although Washington did take almost their whole entire time. That's super annoying. Okay. Well, you know, if we're going to make a move, I think it's just over and over and over again. Like, Waddle went. AJ Brown is going to go to the Patriots. Brandon Beane is just comfortable making B moves, you know? He's scared. He manages scared. Which is weird because he got a promotion. What is he scared of? Doesn't make sense. No sense. Okay, let's check this out. Oh, okay. Unreal, dude. Unreal. Igbinison. Unreal, man. Igbinosun. What does he even do? Yeah. Brandon Beane really lost the fan base with this one. I really think that. This is insane. Unreal. Oh my goodness, dude. This is really like, it's kind of a joke, dude, honestly. Like, really, I mean, I don't have anything else to say, honestly. I'm just kind of riding it out until the end of this third. Came in with really high hopes of this draft. Really high hopes. I don't think that we're going to make a Super Bowl with Brandon Beane. I guess the one thing you can count on is for Brandon Beane to mess it up. Probably shouldn't get excited about any drafts moving in the future. Not really fulfilling any kind of needs in that department. So after the third round, it's going to be maybe like $30 or $40 guys that really have like a solid, super good NFL career. Everybody else is going to be like special teams or out of the league, not even make the roster. Malachi Fields, Notre Dame wide receiver, to the New York Football Giants with the 74th overall pick. Oh, there's 36 picks in this round because of compensatory picks as well. Crazy. All right, guys. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm going to cut all this out anyways, but coming up on hour 4 of the stream, Brandon Beane shat himself. Probably ruined the season with his draft picks. I'd like to see Brandon Beane be fired. I'd like to see a new GM. And we're basically going to have the same team that we had last year out on the field, minus anybody who left, like AJ Ebenesa. So we're actually not going to have. Whatever, man. All right, well, I'm going to head out. I appreciate you guys for being here, all the comments. You guys are the best. Bills Mafia, I love you guys. It's been real. It's been draining. But it's about that time. So thank you guys very much again. I appreciate all the love, all the comments, all the views. And hopefully this season will be better than this draft was. So until then, guys, thank you very much. We'll see you later. Go Bills. Let me see how I do this.